Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. I have the right. It's time for Profit Review. Last week we discussed the Valentine's Rush store for 2025, and that means today it's 1 week later. We're here to talk about February 20, and I'm going to jump straight in. So, when I first saw this Rush store, what was I thinking? What was my initial reaction? I felt relief, I felt reassurance. Now, why on earth would I be feeling that? Well, I saw that we got some more medieval themed skins being accepted, but to truly kind of get my point across, let me remind you of another Rust store we had in the past. Back in the summer of 2024, we had the bike update, and this Rust store right here was the Rust store that came out with it, and we had like a lot of bike themed skins being accepted. How nice, how cute, how cool. Here's the problem though, after this, no other bike themed skins were accepted afterwards. Huh. So when I first saw the Rustor, that was the February Force White Rustor for 2025, the primitive update Rustor, I was like, these skins look really cool. The medieval themes are looking very nice, but I'm not sure if we're actually going to see any more of these types of skins in the future. So of course we have Valentine's in the way. February 20 appears. There we go. There's the reassurance. So okay, right. So we could potentially see some actual collections being built out of these potentially. You understand the reassurance now. So okay, that's looking pretty sweet. But looking at some of these other skins, well, talking about collections, we have seen 2 weapon skins appear, and they appear to be the beginnings of a proper weapon collection for both the Black Ops and the Popstar collections. So that's looking pretty cool. And then we have the Ultramarine hoodie and pants, the final core piece for the Ultramarine collection in terms of the clothing and armor. So when I refer to core pieces, I'm referring to Tier 2 armor, Tier 3 armor, and hoodie and pants. So with the arrival of this, Tier 3 and Tier 2 spiked demand and spiked in price. But what's going to give hoodie and pants a boost afterwards? We'll talk about that in a bit. Now over to here, we could see a brand new protector door being accepted, the garage door. And, well, if you couldn't fully remember, both or all of these, they have transparency and they have glow in the dark. But just because it had those nice, super useful features, didn't guarantee it's going to be A-OK. We have seen this happen in the past, and I did bring up a certain skin that to relate to. So, okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. And now we should probably talk about the predictions. Looking at all these skins, what was looking to be potentially the best investment for the week? And I talked about the hammer. So I didn't want to talk too much about this until I got to the actual predictions part. But it's the second hammer skin of 2025. And okay, what's so special about that? Well, we don't see that many hammer skins being accepted in Rust stores anymore. And quite literally, last year we only had 2 hammer skins being accepted in a Rust store. We had the Easter Chick hammer, and at the very end of the year we had the gingerbread hammer. So with a sheer lack of hammer skins being accepted, it's basically led to every single hammer skin going up in price ever so nicely. With a sheer lack of competition, all of them have succeeded quite nicely. And it's weird because you're always using a hammer. All right, anyway, so I was a little bit concerned because, well, it's early in 2025 and we've already seen a second hammer skin being accepted. Could we potentially see a lot more this year? Or maybe that's it. But still, hammer skins are very reliable investments. I didn't expect huge gains, but I could expect some very nice, slow, gracious rising in price and some pretty good profit down the line. So, okay, Medieval Hammer, you're interesting, but it wasn't abnormal. That's the only skin during this week that was a regular skin. So quite literally, the next Wednesday night, I had to look at the sales and I had to make a consideration if I actually wanted to jump in and buy into it. So when it came to figuring out what potentially might be the next best thing to follow, I thought, you know what? I'm looking at that crown. A very fun look and design, so let me just remind you, produced by Mamoncino. Very interesting, fun gimmick. And I really didn't think anybody else would be making a skin like this. I really didn't think Face Punch was going to accept another crown-themed skin. But funnily enough, this was a cap, so let me just quickly remind you, with the previous week, we had the Valentine's Rush Tour, we had the No Love cap, and I sat there, I looked at the camera and I said, guys, I don't expect another cap skin being produced and accepted anytime soon. I didn't know that that crown had been produced beforehand. Just to remind you, it was produced before Valentine's. So, okay, ha ha ha. But anyway, again, I really didn't think that any more cap skins would be produced and accepted anytime soon. And as I said, didn't think we'd be seeing any more crown skins being produced. So, yeah, that felt a little bit reassuring. Again, saying the word again. But you might notice I'm talking about the crown and not the cape, not the jacket. Well, I'll talk more about that in a second. But this, by itself, it definitely felt unique. It looked fun. And I thought maybe in the summer, a lot of people would probably want to go ahead and just wear it as a fun little quick gimmick. It's not too hard to get a caps, in game or whatnot. So, okay, fair enough. Cool. So that looked pretty nice, but looking for other skins here as potential nice investments, I looked at the Ultramarine hoodie and pants. So as I said, this is the final core piece out of this set. Is there anything else that could give it a boost? Well, I was well aware that there were boots and gloves. I was also well aware that there's potential to see maybe some jacket skins or maybe a backpack and whatnot. Maybe those could help it out. Ultramarine was a very in-demand collection at that specific point. Could it still keep up the interest? Could we see those continuations? And will it have a very fun summer ahead of it? So, okay, yeah, looking pretty cool, looking pretty sweet. And again, just to quickly remind you, you can go back, watch this video, look at what Hedge was suggesting. So looking back over here and questioning what potentially might be a nice thing to follow as well, I was looking at the protector garage door, but I was very much under the impression that it could still potentially go below its rust door price. Now, I did one quick comparison that kind of opened up everybody's eyes. I reminded everybody of the Junkernaut collection. Now, if the garage doors would show themselves right about now, oh, here you go, thank you. Takes a while because there's tons of them, and that's another thing to be worried about. So back over to here, in the past, we had this very cool looking Junkernaut garage door. What it also had in its collection at this specific time was a sheet metal door. A sheet metal door and a garage door that glows in the dark and has transparency. Where have I seen that before? Oh yeah, it's right there. It's the Protector garage door. It's the Protector collection. But the point I'm trying to get across is, both the Junkernaut sheet metal door and the garage door suffered. They both sold at around $3 and they went down. So previously with the Protector collection, we did have the sheet metal door. That went down. But the arrival of the Protector garage door did lead this to going all the way up to about $2 plus for a while. But again, could that actually still manage to retain interest? Would we see any more Protector skins being produced? Like, is there room for an armoured door? Is there room for an armoured double door? A wooden double door? Don't know. We just had to keep an eye out on the workshop and whatnot. So, okay. I have seen things go terribly wrong for something similar in the past, but it was abnormal, didn't need to rush into buying it. I could wait things out, see how it progressed. So, okay, fair enough. Would it sell a lot at $3.49? Now, looking at the remaining skins, I looked at both the weapons, the Black Ops SAR and the LR300. They both look very nice. It was interesting to see that they potentially could, become much larger collections. But with the expected Easter dip, I honestly thought both of them would still go down in price pretty badly to a point. But the awkward thing with the Black Ops SAR was we already had a very interesting sleek black design with a red aim sight and a SAR, literally just like a few months back, that being the Commando SAR right there. That did not sell too much, and it was cheaper. This was in the Rust store at $3. This was about half the price on the Steam market. Was it actually going to sell that much? Was it actually going to retain all of its price? I was having doubts, but I was feeling pretty confident that we'd be seeing a lot more of the Black Ops collection in 2025, more weapon skins, and the potential of it becoming much larger with deplorables and maybe even clothing and armour. With the Popstar LR300, I expected quite a lot more skins to be accepted. What I should remind you of is Popstar had delved into backpack skins and large box skins, didn't get accepted. But the Popstar LR300, okay, maybe Facepunch only wants it to be a weapon-only collection, that's fine. But that was an LR300. And a quick reminder, LR300 skins don't tend to work out very nicely because people don't care enough about the LR300. It's a very fun-looking skin, it's a very fun little gimmick, and with the arrival of that, it did cause the AK to go up in price a fair bit. But the LR300, I didn't really have that much faith in, simply because it was an LR300. Could it still be profitable with a smart builder? Sure, everything can. But I didn't have that much faith it's going to retain all of its $2.49 pricing. Now, looking at the remaining skins, this is where I talk about the Red Monarch cape. A nice, very cool, regal design, but I just didn't have any faith in another jacket skin with transparency. We literally had that for Lunar New Year. And how's that currently holding up? When I first looked at it back then, it's basically the same price. Oh yeah, and we had the Barbarian jacket. We keep seeing so much of it. We've had Twitch drops, we've had previous Rust skins. It's not special anymore. And when you get so many other things that are very similar to it, it's hard for it to maintain interest. It's hard for it to retain value. So, awkward. But it was more specifically made for the crown, but I still thought it would drop off, so didn't have a lot of faith in it. And with these two remaining skins down over here, I really didn't have that much faith. Large, small box hey, that's a very fun gimmick, but that's quite literally it. It's just like, ha ha ha, look, it's a small version of the large box, ha ha. Not to hate on it, but I didn't think enough people would care about it, so I didn't think it would do super great. Sorry to say. And then another backpack skin. Need to remind you, how many backpack skins have we had up to this point? Too many. In such a short amount of time, we had far too many backpacks. People were fatigued. People already had a backpack skin, most likely. I didn't expect much of that, so okay, fair enough then. So how did all of this progress with the first 24 hours of sales? Right, first 24 hours of subscribers, and well, top selling skin, Red Monarch Crown. People did like it. People were chasing after it. 8,500 subscribers. That's looking pretty good. Not looking as if it was going to sell ridiculously, but it still looked like it was going to go over 20,000 subscribers, so alright, fair enough. It was followed by the cape. Obviously, people buy them both, to roam around, and a very cool looking regal design, but I still didn't have enough faith in that jacket. I've been burned out with transparent jackets in the past. Didn't want that to happen again. Smart barter could still lead to some success, but yeah, I didn't think that was going to hold. I really didn't. The weapons were selling quite nicely. The garage door not selling too ridiculously, so that was looking pretty appealing. The hammer really wasn't selling that much. In comparison to the Harbour Seal hammer, it did look like that was going to sell a little bit less, so okay, fair enough. Ultramarine hoodie and pants, they really weren't selling that much. Now, if they ended up becoming the core piece that sold the least, that could actually work out quite nicely. But Tier 3 had already sold like next to nothing, so alright. It was matching up perfectly with the rest in its set. That was nice to see. That was reassuring. So, okay, that was looking nice. So how did everything look when we did the abnormal barders? And so, the night of the abnormals, February 27, 2025, the sales, well, looking pretty good. Red Monarch Crown did just over 19,000 subscribers, followed by the Red Monarch Cape with just over 18,000 subscribers. Both the weapons, very similar sales, around 17,500 subscribers each. Garage door, not too bad. Everything looked reasonable. But still, you have to be cautious. The expected Easter dip could be pretty bad. So, talking about the prices we suggested, looking at the Monarch Crown and the Cape, well, that sold at $1.49. That sold at $1.99, but I did a very similar price. With the Red Monarch Crown, I thought, you know what? I'm still under the belief that I don't expect any other skin to be made that's going to be resembling that. You might get a Twitch drop maybe, but looking at it, I thought, okay, I do expect it to drop off a fair bit. I suggested 70 cents to $1.10. For a $1.49 skin, that's still pretty strong, but yeah, I just couldn't help it. It's going to drop off just a fair bit, just for a while, but then the summertime. And hopefully, with this expected jungle update, we'd probably see a lot more people jumping in, seeing that and thinking, haha, very funny, or I'm the king of the jungle, haha. King of the server, more specifically. So, yeah, 70 cents to $1.10. But with the cape, with that jacket, I've been burned out in the past with transparent jacket skins. It's cool, it's nice, pairs up wonderfully with the the crown, but yeah, I only suggested 70 cents to $1 for that, not $1.10, $1. I really did think it's going to drop off from $2. I really did. Looking at the Black Ops SAR, so I really did think we were going to see a lot more of that collection. I thought Black Ops was going to get a lot more weapons. I thought of the possibility of it being this year's Black Ops alternative, where we see some clothing and armor being produced as well. So I made the consideration that, yeah, I'm fully well aware that we have Commando SAR, and that was currently selling for about half the price. But I honestly thought the Black Ops SAR was actually going to probably still do quite all right. Still drop off, but the price I suggested was $1.20 to $1.80. I thought, okay, yeah, it's going to drop off, probably end up at around half its price almost at one point. But then afterwards, yeah, no, it'll probably progress very nicely, especially if we do see more weapon skins and if we do see it eventually become like a clothing and armor collection as well. So, all right, had reasonable confidence there, just hit my hand, ow. Popstar LR300. So I thought, okay, surely we're going to see a lot more Popstar skins here from now, maybe. That sold at $2.49, just to remind you. But I looked at it, I questioned, all right, LR300s, definitely not reliable investments. But the anime girl design and whatnot, maybe. So I looked at it, made considerations, and I went with $1.20 to $1.70. I thought maybe with more skins being accepted, it could work out. Now, just to remind you, with the LR300 appearing, that did cause the AK-47 to go up in price a fair bit. So we'll talk more about that in a second, don't you worry. Protector Garage Door, 17,000 subscribers. Not an absolute ridiculous amount, but still, at $3.49, that's quite impressive. But still, Junkernaut, was it going to follow its footsteps? I thought about it, I questioned it, and I went with I thought the Protector Gadgetor might do just a little bit better. I thought maybe it could work out quite nicely. I did know that there were more deplorables being produced. It looked like Protector was going to become more of a collection. So I went with $1.50 to $2. I thought it could maybe work out a fair bit better, but still expected it to drop off. Looking at the Ultramarine hoodie and pants, both of those selling at $1.99, I was fully well aware that some boots and gloves were submitted onto the workshop. Yeah, I honestly thought that was actually going to work out quite nicely. So I did say this earlier. What could help boost the hoodie and pants? Well, even boots and gloves can. And with the success of Ultramarine, with the sales that it got, I honestly thought that was going to come out. And I honestly thought hoodie and pants would work out ever so nicely, rising in price if we were to see that happen at some point. So, okay, feeling confident, offered high prices. But when it came to the large small box and the night backpack, not so much confidence there. So looking at the large small box, it was a $1.99 skin. I didn't have any faith in it. Fun, silly gimmick. I just didn't think it was going to last forever. So I went with 50 cents to 70 cents. And I don't even remember if I actually approached it. I don't even think I did a barge on it. But with the night backpack, at this specific point on February 27, 2025, I was looking at it, and I could see it had 8,500 subscribers. Now, just to quickly remind you, at this specific point, the lowest selling backpack skin we had ever seen was the Gold Chains backpack with 9,300 subscribers. At the current rate of sales, that was about to become the lowest ever selling backpack. Now, before all this, I did do some comparisons with the night backpack with the Desert Nomad backpack, because it is a light brown design, but it does have that white and blue shield design on the back. And it still made it stand out quite a lot. I didn't think anybody would appreciate it in such a way as Desert Camouflage. So I still didn't have any faith. And when I don't have that much confidence in the skin, I play it safe. I went with 60 cents to 80 cents with the backpack. And for the only skin that was not abnormal, the Medieval Hammer, it looked good. It didn't sell that much. It had sold quite a fair bit less compared to the Harbour Seal Hammer. And the Harbour Seal Hammer, they had a collection. It sold, 13,600 subscribers? So it sold like 1,500 more compared to that at that specific point. But the Harbour Seal Hammer had done a very, very, very good job of retaining its price. Even though quite a lot of skins were going down in price at this specific point in time, that was still working out very nicely. And that Medieval Hammer, I was aware that some tools were made. It looked like it could potentially become an interesting collection. But just because of it being a hammer, I thought, you know what? I think I might even have to jump in and buy into that. But with buy orders, I suggested $1 to $1.50. Yeah, maybe at some point it'll go down in price. Really didn't expect it to drop down too ridiculously. But in terms of with this rush store, did I actually make any purchases? I bought 30 hammers and 20 hoodie and pants each because I thought, things do look pretty interesting there. I just didn't want to spend that much money. So, shall we now talk about the outcomes? How did everything turn out as of now? So with the Red Monarch crown and cape, yeah, they went down in price. But the price suggestions with the buy orders, let's discuss that. So for the crown, I suggested 70 cents to $1.10, and as of now, you can see there's only 47 listings, and it's currently sitting there at $1.07. So the price suggestion seems to have succeeded in terms of, hey, if you actually want to pick some up, congratulations. So I have picked up quite a few Red Monarch crowns. But I'll sit here and say I bought them for about 30, 40 cents cheaper, and I'm not too worried at the moment because as of now, we are now looking towards the summertime, and we are hoping that we're going to see a pretty ridiculous update come out, and we're going to see a lot of very interested people jumping in, enjoying themselves, and wanting to buy skins and whatnot. So yeah, just to quickly point this out, as of now, in March, it looks like it's going to be the lowest average player count this year. Oh dear, oh no. But it's still absolutely ridiculous when you compare it to the ever so wonderful summertime we had. That was amazing. Prices were selling for new all-time high prices at this specific point, and yet still more people playing in this month compared to that month. Madness. So if we have a very big fun update in the summer, how many people we're going to be having playing then? So that's why I'm very, very curious to see what happens next. But that Red Monarch crown, my price suggestion, I think it's perfectly fine. I've picked some up. I'm not worried, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that progresses. Unfortunately, we haven't seen any actual progress in terms of, hey, is there any more of this Red Monarch collection? Well, as you look over to here, you'll see that there's a sword. You'll see that there was some armor and whatnot, but it didn't get any continuations. Maybe we could still see some more, maybe, but as of now, no. That's the answer. So, okay, we'll see how this potentially progresses. But that jacket, Well then, what's the price suggestion again, Hedge? Oh yeah, 70 cents to $1. Well, you probably bought a bunch if you did that $1 barter. Yep. But I think some people probably maybe removed their barters. I did. I bought like 20 of them with a barter. Okay, it is what it is. There's only 44 listings. Here's hoping things work out nicely in the future. But yeah, that has basically matched up to the expectation of it's going to go down to $1. Yippee. So, all right, overall, I'm not too worried. That's basically matched up to expectation. Let's now talk about, I guess I could talk about both the weapons at the same time. So they're in a fairly similar spot. So with the Black Ops R, as I said, I would expect more skins being produced, and that did happen. We saw the revolver being accepted, but there was like a Thompson. I can't remember. What else was there? Let's go remind ourselves. Holodner and Kolotinsky, what have you been brewing these past few weeks? So we've seen the Thompson, the SAP, another Thompson attempt. Okay, that's fine. It's still getting love. It's still getting attempts. And as I said, I think it could go potentially even further later this year. Maybe they attempt to do other things, deplorables, clothing and armour. We'll see. But as of now, my price suggestion seems to be reasonable. Let's see if it turns around and has a fun summertime. The behaviour we're seeing here is very much the exact same behaviour we saw with the commando weapons. They dropped off initially, but when we reached post-Christmas time, they went all the way back up to their rust price and became a fair bit profitable. So, all right, cool. We'll learn from that, and it's happened all over again. With the LR300, sorry, I was trying to get rid of that. With the LR300, as you can see, it's got 55 listings, and the price is now sitting here at $1.50. Oh dear. So compare this to all the other LR300s we've seen in the past. It's actually not doing too bad, but it still has dropped off by $1, and it has gone less than the price I suggested. Did you happen to buy any with your barter for through the comment below? But unfortunately, we haven't seen any continuations, so let's also bring that up. Popstar has had more skins being submitted. We're just kind of sitting here waiting and hoping to see if we get any more skins accepted. And yes, every single skin from here and now, weapon skin, has this cute little anime girl when you aim down the sight. She is mischievous. She is evil. So unfortunately, that actually dropped off a little bit more. I do hope to see some more skins being accepted. It did help out the AK, but the AK has gone back down again. Not by too much, but when you see the layout of the listings, it was better off. It was better off. Let's hope it gets better off again in the future. So, okay. It's unfortunate how that turned out. Protector garage door. So, yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it has matched up to the behaviour almost like the Junkernaut, but it didn't go all the way down. It's doing better, but it has dropped off. We anticipated that, and we are okay. Why does this have almost 11,000 buy orders? What? Oh, there you go. Someone's faking interest. See that there? 4 cents, 10,000 buy orders. That's not a legitimate amount of buy orders. Disregard that. So this actually has about 900 buy order requests, but the listings here, it's very thin. I'm not seeing someone dumping. I'm not seeing like 10, 20, 30, 40. No, it's all very thin. Once we reach the summertime, maybe this gets appreciated. Maybe we see some continuations appear. Maybe that does rebound quite nicely. In the position that it's in, it can very much do so. So, okay. The buy order, that's actually worked out quite nicely. I have picked up a few of these myself. Let's see how this progresses from here and now. But yeah, we've got to keep an eye out. We've got to wait and see. Keep an eye out for potential collection continuations. I'm aware of a furnace. I can't remember the other skin. There was another one. What else was produced? There was another one. I don't remember what it was. But let's just move on. Medieval hammer. That has worked out perfectly. So I felt like this was looking reliable. I felt like this was going to be A-OK just because. And yeah, it worked out just because. This is actually doing better than the Harbour Seal Hammer. Now, that's in terms of listings. Is it actually selling that much? Let's go over to here. 11 have sold today. I mean, that's fine. It doesn't have that much stock. 11 sales a day will definitely help out in terms of seeing the price gradually rise up. But did it actually get those continuations being produced? Well, we saw the tools and that was it. Yeah. Then Himmick was working on other collections he's had and they got accepted, so he kind of focused that. I don't think it needs a collection continuation to go up that much more. I think from here and now it's just going to slowly and graciously go up in price. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be hugely profitable, and you do have to hope people actively do want to keep on buying it. If it's only doing 11 sales a day, it could just be sales to the buy orders, perhaps. But I bought some, I'm happy. Let's see how much that progresses over the summer, It's looking good. Have you actually bought anything yourself? Feel free to comment below. And did you, succeed in, picking up any of these? Have you picked up any with barders? Feel free to comment below. So yeah, all right, that worked out quite nicely. But looking at all the other skins here, we have another very interesting pair of skins to talk about. Both the hoodie and pants, they have worked out lovely. Why? Because the boots and gloves are accepted. And that was fairly quick, wasn't it? So this has gone all the way up to $5.50. This has gone all the way up to $4.50. And I've sold about 10 each, and I'm very happy. And I'll keep the other 10 of both of them, see how they progress in the summertime. Because I'm kind of in the position of, I think that's going to work out exactly like the Abyss collection. That had loads of very interesting looking deplorables being made. That had all the clothing armour being accepted. And just this past post-Christmas, all of that rose up in price quite nicely. People like it. People are using it. It's being used quite a fair bit. Unfortunately, the tier 3 sold a little bit too much. But even then, just this past January, that rose up quite a fair bit. And it looked like it was just about going to reach its rust or price again. But it didn't. It didn't. And yeah, we're kind of going through a bit of a bad time at the moment. It's not too bad. But that could rebound, and with what we're currently seeing here, could it go up even higher? Fingers crossed, I hope so. But with the prices that I sold them at, I'm not complaining. I'm a happy bunny. So, all right, that did work out quite nicely. Let's see what happens next with the the Ultramarine collection. We just recently had a backpack being accepted, but I don't know what else could be accepted. A jacket would probably be nice. It's just we'll see how that goes, but. As of now, I am aware that the skin creator is now dabbling into deplorables again. Maybe we'll see another attempt at a rug. Maybe we'll see more weapon skins being attempted. Who knows? Just got to keep an eye on the workshop. Now, looking at the large box, unfortunately that has basically matched up to expectation, but yeah, it has dropped off, but it hasn't dropped off too bad. It has some buy orders. It has some. So if I were to just quickly look at all the sales as of recent, it's not too bad. It's not too low, but it's dropped off still. That's only had 7 sales in the past 24 hours. It's not an in-demand skin. I can't help but assume that will just probably slowly and graciously go down in price. But with those barders it does have, it'll probably keep up a fair bit. But just to take a quick look at all the small boxes we've seen in recent past, and you'll see quite a portion of them. Pretty much all of them have gone down in price, Hedge. Yeah, yes they have. It's not looking very pretty there, is it? No. Alright then, so unfortunately that's not looking super great. Did you buy any with a buy order? You might want to sell them. And then we have the night backpack. Now coincidentally we saw even more backpacks being accepted, and what followed this ended up becoming the actual lowest ever selling backpack. So for a small period of time that was the lowest selling. As you can see here, gold chains 9,300, but it didn't really matter that much. If I were to look at this in the Steam market right now, how many listings do we see? 25. That really isn't that much, is it? But when you look at the buy orders, nothing's really climbing up. You can see there's quite a few of them below the $2 price. I'll turn around and say, well, it just needs a few sales, and then it'll go back up to its rust price, and everything's lovely. But if we're seeing things like that right now, I mean, there's just no demand for it. If I just quickly look and see, yeah, only 2 sales today. That is not an in-demand skin. That will not be making any profit anytime soon. You might sit there and say, but it was the lowest selling skin. And as I said, 9,000 subscribers is still a lot. It's not like hardly anything. So, yeah, that didn't work out very nicely. But with the barter suggestion at 60 cents to 80 cents, I don't think it'll be going that low anytime soon. Let's just quickly show all of that. It might take a while, but I don't see anyone dumping, so I don't think that'll be happening. I will sit here and say I'm wrong, but even then I don't think you've made that much profit. So you could keep an eye on it. I just don't really expect that much with it. So congratulations if you are correct there. All right then. So overall, this rust store, it was pretty cool. I'm happy to see if it progresses, but we're not seeing that progress at the moment. We're not seeing the continuations actually being accepted, other than some of them. So with the next week's Rust Store, the final Rust Store of February 2025, again, we saw some interesting skins appearing, some interesting brand new clothing and armor collections, all that's looking pretty nice, and, well, more random collection continuations. So overall, a very interesting looking Rust Store, but that'll be next week's video. For now, we're going to sit here and say thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and best of luck with you and your investments. Catch you later. See you, goodbye.